Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hi, Ronnie. Just so you know, you're all set.
Thank you. Accept. Hold on, let me find the. All right, as soon as I can get the opening spiel here to open, we'll get going. It looks like it's loading. Almost there. There we go. Okay, I got it. Thank you for joining the City of Kingston's Common Council at our caucus meeting held by the Democrats here. Today is no, it's not. Today is November the 8th, 2021. Before we begin, we would like to go over a few guidelines to help us navigate this system as efficiently and respectfully as possible. We ask that members of the public and press remain muted and off camera for the length of the meeting. The moderator for tonight is City Clerk Elissa Tinty, and she reserves the right to mute anyone who unmutes themselves. Council members and city staff will control their own mute buttons. Good practice would be to mute yourself if you are not speaking to avoid background noise and feedback. If a council member or staff wishes to speak, they will raise their hands. I will call on members by stating their name clearly for our audio listeners. All of our meetings are recorded. Both video and written transcriptions will be made available to the public via the city's website. Although we will not have public speaking tonight, you can sign up to speak at our monthly council meetings. The next one is tomorrow night. Please email Elissa Tenti to sign up by noon tomorrow if you want to speak tomorrow night, or you can submit written comment for the record by the same deadline tomorrow at noon. The email address is emtinti@kingston-ny.gov. You can also drop comments off at the drop box located outside the side door of City Hall. We also encourage you to reach out to committee chairs or your ward's representative at any time. As I noted before, Clerk Elissa Tenti is the moderator for tonight's meeting. She has the right to lock and pause the meeting to eject anyone who has behaved inappropriately. Lastly, at tonight's meeting, we have in attendance myself, Renee Scott Childress. We also have members of the Caucus, Steve Shabbat, Jeffrey Ventura Morel, Michelle Hirsch, Don Tollerman, Tony Davis, Rita Worthington, Patrick O'Reilly, and Doug Coop. We also have with us staff members, our new Corporation Counsel, Barbara Graves Polar, welcome. Glad you could be with us tonight, as well as Dan Gartenstein. We also have, as noted, Elissa Tenti, and we've got, I believe, is that Kevin Court, Kevin Bryant, and various other folks on the phone. So thank you for your patience during these difficult times. And on behalf of the Common Council, I wish you and your family good health. I now call this meeting to order at 7:05 p.m. That's now. All right, welcome everyone. We have some items to go over tonight. Let me pull those up. A fair number of these are either related to parking or transfers. So we will get through them. There's one thing we are going to work on a little bit, or need to discuss a little bit, certainly, and that's Resolution 215. All right, so we'll start with Resolution 209. This is a request to transfer $14,000 in the Parks and Recreation budget to balance books there. And this has no financial impact. Everyone okay with this transfer? All right then. Hearing no objections, we'll move to the next item. And that is Resolution 210. This is a transfer in Parks and Recreation for $636 to cover additional expenses for the Everett Hodge Community Center relating to its drop-in school support program. This is being funded by CARES Act money. Everybody okay with this one? Any comments, questions, queries, concerns? Okay. Good. Then moving on, yikes, to 211. This is a transfer in the Building and Safety Department for $1,800 to cover the expenses of additional vehicle maintenance. Again, I believe this one has zero financial impact. Any comments on this one? Everybody okay with it? All right, we move to 212. Not the area code. This is another request for a transfer, this time in the clerk's office for $6,950 to cover the expense of replacing the panic button control panel and related devices at City Hall. This one is going to be covered also by internal transfers, so it has zero financial impact. Comments? Is everyone okay with that? Okay. 213. This is about parking relating to adding handicap parking on South Prospect Street. Everybody okay with this one? Comments or concerns? All right. 214. This is adding a limited time parking on Wincoop Place. This one has a little bit of story. So Tony Davis, would you mind just telling us briefly what this one's about?
Yes, hi. Again, requests from Alderman Don Tollerman in regard to, going to include, I believe it's 20-minute parking space at the intersection of Foxlaw and Wincoop Place. I see in here, I did not, the attachment states it, but in the resolution, it does not state the specific times and dates and day and time. Does that have to be included in there? Or can it just be with the attachment that's included? It's supposed to be 20-minute parking, I believe, if I'm right, Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. That is in the correspondence, but it's not on the actual resolution. It's on the attachment.
Well, the correspondence theoretically will be attached to the resolution,
Correct.
right?
I just want to clarify that. That's all.
Yeah. I would leave it up to Dan Gartenstein to see whether or not we need to include that actual information in the resolution itself. The crucial thing is that the information gets to the sign maker.
Correct.
If you're leaving it to Dan Gartenstein, I wasn't listening because I was doing something else. So repeat the question.
Dan, and on the actual resolution that passed out of public safety, it just states to have, I lost it now, but I believe it states, what's it say, Rennie? I lost it. I'm sorry.
It's resolution 214. This is about the parking on Wincoop Place, the 20-minute parking. And so there are actual times when it would be in effect that are in the request from John Schulteis, parking during the hours of 7 to 3, but it doesn't specifically state those times in the committee report. So the question is, do we need to add the times and that sort of information into the committee report, or is it enough for it to be attached with that letter?
You can just write as per attached letter.
Thank you.
Or you can write the specific times, either way.
We'll just make sure that it says see attached letter.
Yes. So Alyssa, can you add that to the resolution, to the committee report, I mean?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, resolution 215. This we're altering a little bit from the original one because we'd like to have a public hearing about the abandonment part. So this piece of legislation used to have two actions in it. We're going to have the one action, which is the one that's the conveying of the easement. So this was an administrative move, as we talked about before, but we'll need somebody to, in essence, move tomorrow night to, one, remove the part about the abandoning part of Fair Street extension. And then we also, I believe, we have to have somebody make a motion to set a, or to hold a public hearing. Or Dan, I'm sorry to bother you again, but is that something that President Shaw can do on her own? Set the time and date for the public hearing?
Should first make a motion to suspend the rules. After you make a motion to suspend the rules, you should make a motion to separate the two different sections of the resolution. You should table the second part of the resolution pending a public hearing, and then you should vote to schedule the public hearing.
Okay.
Whether you all have to set a specific date or you can just indicate that the council president is going to set the date, I think is, either way.
Okay,
Kevin,
got it. Thank you, sir.
you good with that, Kevin?
And that's fine. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Rennie, I have a question. Can I ask a
Yes,
question?
Rita. Sure.
So should we specify what two separate parts that we're going to separate?
Yes, Elissa sent out the way the new document would read. So basically, the person who makes the motion needs to separate the easement, the request for the easement from the request for the abandonment.
Okay.
And Elisa will read the final version, so it's clear that the one portion is omitted and what is being considered relative to the vote tomorrow.
Okay, so can somebody take the responsibility for making that motion?
Yeah.
Patrick Riley?
Okay.
Are you asking a question, Patrick, or you say you'll make the motion?
I'll make the motion if it's necessary.
Okay, and then Rita, you'll second it then? Great, thank you.
Randy, can you just state what it's going to state, or we have to wait for what Patrick's going to say tomorrow?
Well, the new resolution, after we separate out the request for abandoning part of Fair Street Extension, the new resolution 215 will read, resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, requesting authorization for conveyance of an easement to the Kingstonian Development LLC and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary.
And we will just then table the written consent for partial abandonment of Fair Street, right?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Randy, when you have a chance, I'd like to go back to another resolution.
Okay, which one is that, Patrick?
The 20-minute parking on Wine Coop.
Yes.
I was wondering where exactly is that location, and what ward is it in?
It's in Don Tollerman's ward.
So that's the Vauxhall Deli,
Yes,
right on the side of the Vauxhall Deli. So we're not on Vauxhall, but if you turn the corner and start to head up Wine Coop, it's right next to the deli.
And that's your ward, Don. What's it? Just
Yeah.
one space?
Yeah.
That's it?
Well, he has one. He's asked for a second one, I believe is the case.
Oh,
So
there's gonna be two on Wine Coop now? Because-
no, it's going to be one on Wine Coop, Patrick. It's going to be one on Wine Coop at the corner of Wine Coop Place and Foxhall Avenue. It's going to be a 20-minute parking.
That's
All
gonna
right,
be just
right
on
now,
the side of his building, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
this is not his building.
Just on the side of his building, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
All set, thank you.
All right, so we're good with with that one, and then we're also good with 215. Everyone understands that one? Clear on the direction there? Okay, great. Then we move on to resolution 216. This is amending the fee schedule to reflect rates for annual hotel fees. So this one is going to set the rates. This is what we've talked about before to clarify this so that we'll be setting rates that buildings, facilities that are defined in the code as hotels will be paying a base fee, annual base fee, if they're 1 to 3 units, of $75, and then a per unit fee of $50. For facilities that are 4 to 9 units, the base fee will be $150 and the per unit fee will be $50. For facilities with 10 to 20 units, the base fee will be $250 and the per unit fee will be $45. If there are more than 20 units, the base fee will be $400 and the per unit fee will be $40. Questions, concerns? Patrick?
This fee, is it to offset any costs for the city?
I'm sorry. What do you, I didn't quite understand your question.
The fee that we're charging,
Mhm.
is there a purpose for it? Is there a purpose for it or just a tax?
It's, yeah, to cover inspections.
Okay, and thank you. And the base fee, $75. So let's say I have 3 units. So that's only $25 a unit. And then it says next to it per unit $50. Would it be $75 for 3 units or would it be $150 for 3 units?
$225 total.
$225.
Yeah.
So there's $75 just for being there, and then then $50 a pop on top.
Yeah.
And what's the rationale for that?
Well, currently, as you know, when building safety goes and inspects apartments, there's a fee associated with that also. And so if we're going to be inspecting hotels and all facilities that are also defined as hotels, we want to cover that cost.
This is annual?
Yes.
So if you have, okay. And this is to cover the cost of inspections, you're saying, of each room, each individual hotel room?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anything else on that one?
Is it, I got Rennie, is that in line with anybody else, the county or anybody like that?
I'm not sure.
It's just a fee we came up with we didn't align with the county on that, county's fees for hotels or anything like that?
It's our fee that we already charge for landlords. So it matches what we're already charging from the building department. And so then we updated some of the zoning code for hotels in our laws and rules.
That's not my question. My question is it in line with a similar fee for the county to own a hotel in the county, in the town of Ulster?
We made it be in line with our code, is what Michelle is saying. So we didn't look at other codes.
Well, I think the county has an occupancy fee separate. You know, this is based on inspections, right? The county has a tax that they put on hotels.
Right. That's the bed tax. They have a 2% bed tax that goes to the county.
But that goes, we charge a 2% bed tax too, don't we?
It goes to the county.
Correct. So we're adding, so if you own a hotel in Ulster, town of Ulster, there's a 2% bed tax, which we all pay. But if you own a hotel in Kingston, there's also a minimum of $250 fee on top of that.
Yes, to cover inspections.
So owning a hotel in the city of Kingston is more expensive than owning a hotel in the town of Ulster because we're adding fees. Is that correct? That
What
the town of Ulster
what we're doing is ensuring the safety of all overnight lodgings in the city of Kingston.
Yeah, I was just wondering if the town of Ulster is ensuring safety of lodging in the town of Ulster.
I sure hope so.
Me too. Thank you.
Anything else on that one? All right. 217. This is requesting authorization for citywide sewers phase 1 and 2 project in the amount of $855,000. And because this money would be coming through HUD and CDBG, it has no financial impact for the city. So everybody okay with that? Any questions, concerns there?
Rennie, I'm sorry, could you just read that one, read it again for me?
You wanted the title or the actual committee report?
Yeah, I don't have the committee, please read the committee report.
Okay. The committee report says request authorization for the citywide sewers phase 1 and 2 project in the amount of $855,000. The full amount expected to be reimbursed by HUD CDBG funds, and it authorizes the mayor to execute all contracts and related, and affirms that the project is a type 2 action under seeker.
Okay, so that committee report doesn't include the sections of the city of where this is going to take place.
The accompanying letter does. And so the projects, it's for the design of sanitary and storm sewer replacement or rehabilitation projects, which include Prospect Street, Sterling Street, and Van Dusen Street.
Right, and so we don't want that in the committee report, that's fine.
I think that's okay. Again, I'll leave that to Dan Gartenstein or Kevin Bryant, because it will be with the attached legislation, and that's what you know is the description in the phase 1 and phase 2 materials.
As long as it's with the attached legislation is fine.
Does that satisfy you, Rita?
Does it satisfy me? No, but I understand it. Okay.
Well, I think we could probably ask Elissa to add the names of those streets into the resolution, into the committee report. Would that be okay? I mean, is that your concern?
No, it's fine the way that it is. I was just curious on why it wasn't added, but I understand. It's fine.
Okay. Anything else on that one? All right. Resolution 218 is a request from the comptroller to accept the 2020 audited financials as prepared by RBT, our CPAs for this work. Everybody okay with that? Steve Shabbat?
Correct the spelling in that, please. Audited is spelled wrong.
Uh-oh. Elissa, can you take care of that?
Sure will.
Audid. Okay. Resolution 219. This is authorizing the settlement with 19 to 21 Main Street LLC. Everybody okay with that one? There will be some financial impact with that one. It's going to take me a while to find it.
Anybody know the page number this is on?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find.
The page number that the resolution is on?
It is
151.
Oh, I'm sorry.
151.
I got it. I got it. I got it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
151. And the estimated financial impact is $4,308.40. All right. Everybody okay with that?
Could you repeat that number?
$4,308.40. Any discussion of this would have to take place in with our lawyers. Okay, so we'll move on. All right, Resolution 220. This is amending Section 360, Schedule 16 of the City Code regarding parking prohibited during certain hours. This was, this was public safety. Tony, can you give us a little overview of this one?
So again, this came from Ed Norman, the supervisor of DPW, and after listening to his employees, his workforce, and of the safety concerns of picking up the garbage on Broadway, especially with the new road configuration. And so his request was to have no parking on Tuesdays, the day that they pick up on Broadway, on both sides, and from I believe it's 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and that there be no parking on Broadway, so that the DPW crew would be able to, and personnel would be able to get into there to be able to pick up the garbage on both sides of the street. And then after 9 a.m., at the start of 9 a.m., it's a 2-hour and limited parking. That's already in effect.
All right.
If it's not all Broadway, it's just going to be, it was requested for all of Broadway, but then we decided it's just going to be from, I believe, Pine Grove Avenue to the top of Albany, up to top of Broadway or Albany Avenue.
Okay, thank you for that. Any comments, questions? This was largely for the safety of the DPW workers, also for their efficiency to get through there quickly. All right, then seeing no comments, we'll move to 221. This is a request for the manufacturing and placement of crosswalk posts and pedestrian flags at 2 sites as a test to see how this works. And the 2 sites would be the crosswalk at North Front and Crown Street, and a crosswalk at Broadway and Andrews Street. And the financial impact of this would be about $580. Again, these are 2 test sites. We're going to see how this works here in the city of Kingston to see whether it's worth pursuing more of these kinds of traffic safety calming devices. Everybody okay with that? Questions, comments? Patrick O'Reilly?
How'd you know I wanted to say something, Rennie? All-knowing Rennie Scott Childress. How are we going to determine whether it's effective or not?
Just think, again, I believe it's just another safeguard. It's not really so much about, that and so that if somebody got hit by a car, but I just think it's another obstacle or another safety mechanism that we can use at, as a tester at these 2 locations, and to do, and to enhance pedestrian safety as they're walking across these two road and intersections. So I don't think it's as much about data to say, oh, well, nobody got hit this week. But I just think, again, it's just another tool that we can use utilized to enhance the safety of people walking in those two crosswalks. I've seen firsthand, and at the North Front Street, of people and almost getting hit and crossing in that roadway, and so I've seen this being utilized in Florida and where I vacation at. So I just thought it would be another an opportunity for us to just enhance the safety of people walking there. So, and that is the only thing I can say. I don't know if we're really going to be able to get data. I mean, hoping this works and that we, there is no accidents at all in these two intersections that we're going to test it out in.
Steve Shabbat.
Thank you, sir. Tony, do we have a time frame for this test? Is it going to go on for a limited amount of time before we reassess this?
I mean, I believe from the committee, and it's not just me, I think the members of the committee, I think we discussed this and just thought these were two be good places to see the utilization of the flags and on both sides. And a concern from DPW is that, and hopefully this doesn't come to the front, that of people taking the signs and removing the flags and then have to keep on replacing the flags. So that is why we're just testing out in these two locations that are very busy and locations, and to see if they're going to utilize, to see if people are going to be using them, and hopefully the flags are not being and taken and not being put back. So we didn't really talk about a specific time frame, and we didn't talk about we're going to have them up for this many months, etc. I think it was just going to be just seeing how, if they're being utilized, if people and Broadway, Andrew Street, if the students are utilizing it, if members of the hospital are using it to cross that, and the same thing up at Front Street, or the people walking up in the city uptown, are they utilizing them? And I guess it's just going to be really the test.
So to be determined, right?
Yep, to be determined. Yes, I could say. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Patrick raises a good point. I would foresee us doing qualitative interviews with folks after they've been up for a while, and really talk to folks and see what their experience is with them. But I think too, this is coming out of, there's a lot of folks who are concerned these days about things like crossing the street. So this is just another little test to see if we can find something that will help people feel more confident and to reduce traffic incidents.
I mean, I know I'm going to be doing my own formal things as I'm driving through, and if I see people utilizing it, I'm going to stop and I'm going to talk to business people up in that area to find out, what is their thoughts on it? Have they seen their, foot traffic utilizing this? And so, that is the way I'm going to conduct my own little survey to see if they're useful. And
all right, Michelle Hirsch, then Patrick O'Reilly.
Yeah, I think that it will get some valuable information from the Andrew Street, Broadway Street, Andrew Street location, because there's a lot of complaints, even here in the community, that the traffic turning onto Andrew Street is much higher, with parents doing pickups and blocking the entry into Broadway and on Andrew. So I think it's good that this area is a little better defined for students and everybody else.
Thank you. Patrick?
I think we've done a lot and John Schulteis has a lot to do with that, to improve our city's traffic patterns, our traffic flow. We put those stoplights up on on Washington Avenue. And now we realize that we never needed those. Spend hundreds of thousands of dollars plus electricity, plus I think the bill was $5,000 a year just in electricity and maintenance for these stoplights that now it's beautiful that they're gone. Hopefully this will work. And if it doesn't work, we'll do away with it and try something else. But it's really been, and in the last 4 years that I've been watching it closely, the city of Kingston drivability and ability to walk and drive, the city of Kingston has improved tremendously under our present engineer. So, I hope this works out.
Anything else on that one? Michelle Hirsch, I'm sorry, yeah.
I just want to thank Alderman Davis for bringing this idea forward.
Yes. All right, then our last item. This is an ordinance to amend section of the city code 390.64 relating to parking prohibited during snow emergency. Tony, again, can you give us a little overview of this one?
And public safety's got a lot on there today, huh?
Yeah.
And again, this is a request from the superintendent of DPW, as well as I can't think of the other gentleman off the top of my head. I apologize. And that they had a discussion, and last year we had calls. I'm assuming we all got calls about that first snow emergency, and DPW was getting slammed with phone calls, and we were all, most of us on here were concerned about what was going on in regard to snow removals. And this is another, this is an option, or not an option, from Ed Norman, that this is a thing to try to improve the snow removal in the city of Kingston, and to request that no vehicles be allowed in the park on snow emergency roads, and at the declaration by the mayor or and that there's a snow emergency in the city of Kingston, or his designated person who declares snow emergencies, so that the DPW crews would be able to get out and not be hampered and by cars parked on the snow emergencies, so they can clear the snow emergency routes first, which is the way it's done. Snow emergencies are getting plowed first, and then the other roadways are then cleared. And so this is a request from Ed Norman, and how he believes that the city of Kingston can improve their snow removal.
Dan Quisnell was the other one.
And Dan Quisnell, and sorry about that, Dan Quisnell.
Yeah, who does parking enforcement in the comptroller's office related to that. All right, everybody clear on this one? Questions? Michelle Hirsch, comments?
So I had brought up when we had this discussion that a mailer go out to the city, outlining snow emergency routes, the streets that would be closed, the procedure for snow emergencies, because I think we all agree that we should make sure that the community is as well informed in advance about what happens and how cars have to be moved. We have a lot of elderly people. We have a lot of people that will have to make arrangements well in advance to have their cars moved, to have transportation to where they're going to move their car. And they will have to be have their cars gone off these streets for in duration of the snow emergency. So if we have something, like it's another 3-day snowstorm and have a snow emergency for 3 days long, I think the community really needs to be prepared. They need to understand what's involved. And I think that it is well worth the cost that we do a mailing outlining snow emergency procedure.
I forget whether it was Ed Norman or Dan Quisnell, but I believe one of them said that a cost of something mailed to all city residences or all city addresses would be around $7,000. And I agree with you. I think that's an important thing to do, to warn people, let them know. So Michelle, would you be open to sending in we can't send in a communication now for November, but maybe we could talk about it maybe we could suspend the rules to put in a request for that $7,000 because it should go out in December before we start getting serious snow.
Yep.
So I guess we need to work with President Shaw to see what the appropriate committee is for dealing with that, and then see about requesting that amount of money. Are people okay with that?
Yes, I believe Ed Norman had stated that he was, he had to wait for the Common Council to approve this before we could have then a discussion about or sending out a flyer and or a mailer to everybody. And so obviously it has to be passed out tomorrow. And then I would suggest, like Rennie's suggesting, and we do it sooner than later. And, because first snowstorm is going to come, and maybe not in this month of November. And by December, we're going to have the snow emergency. And like Michelle's saying, and the farther in advance that and people, the residents of the city of Kingston can know about the snow emergency and what they have to do, the better. So.
Great. So I think we could take this up at the Finance Committee meeting, which I think would be what, the 15th? No, 8th, 9th, 10th, 17th.
Also, can we, someone speak with Summer or speak with the mayor about having Summer put something after this passes, at least get it on social media as soon as possible?
Tony, can you do that?
Contact Summer about putting out some kind of communication in regard to and the snow emergency and the routes.
Yeah, at least an electronic communication, whatever other things she can do that wouldn't, because I think if we're going to do the actual mailer, which I think is a great idea, because we've seen the problem that people in Kingston communicate through several different channels that don't necessarily interconnect. And I think sending out a flyer to everybody's house and every business is an essential idea here. So,
hey, Rennie, just
Yes,
for your
Kevin.
information, finance is the 10th.
Oh, the 10th,
Wednesday.
even better. Okay,
That's a question.
Steve Shabbat, then Don Tollerman.
Yeah, thanks. I don't know if this is just an idea here. Would it be possible to amend the resolution to say parking prohibited during snow emergency and to include a amount to be determined for public notification? And then we can just discuss it at finance. We wouldn't need a resolution. We could just discuss, an amount that we could spend on this.
Yeah, I think somebody can make that motion, suspend the rules tomorrow night, and add that in. So Michelle, are you raising your thumb saying you'll do that? Okay, great. And then Steve Shabbat, you can second it? Okay, great. So then Michelle, you can speak to somebody and try to find out what that number would be for the mailer. I don't know if that would be Summer Smith or Roy or whoever. Don Tolman.
Rennie, can you repeat that again? So I just want to make sure I understand. You're talking about passing a resolution tomorrow.
We're talking about amending this resolution to include a mailer that would go out to all city addresses that would, detail this change.
And you would be leaving blank in what the amount would be?
Well, we got an estimate from Ed Norman about what that amount would be. So Michelle said she would look into that so we could have an actual number if we do amend the resolution this way. Is that what you're asking? Or am I explaining what you're asking?
No, I just wasn't sure if you were planning on voting on an amount that was undisclosed and you wouldn't know until after the fact, or you were going to know prior to the vote.
Well, hopefully we'll know prior to the vote. Is that okay?
Well, I mean, that, to me, that would be the only way you would be able to vote on it.
Okay, all right,
You can't vote on something and leave it as an undetermined amount.
gotcha, yeah,
Okay.
makes sense. So Michelle, you're clear on that?
Yeah, so Ed Norman was basing that number he estimated in the meeting based on I guess the recycling, right? That last mailing.
Mhm.
So I'll get it in touch.
I've sent that communication already to Summer to contact me in regard to and sending out some kind of communication, but I guess we would, I don't think we would need, and for Summer, I mean, she could just put something out there and the mailer would have to be determined from the amount that Ed states that needs to be put down there, but I will have Summer do that as soon as she talks to me.
Okay, good. Don Tollerman?
I have a question about it costs so much money to send out a mailer. Is there, and Kevin and Dan, maybe you can, is there a reason why we don't collect all residents' email addresses? I know not all residents are going to have email addresses, but even if we had 90% of them, it's such a much more effective and cost-effective way to reach the people who live here. Is there a reason that we don't do that?
Sounds really complicated because people are coming and going all the time. So like we know that those mailing addresses are always there.
And people
Not only that,
people are changing
everyone
their email.
doesn't have, everyone is not computer literate, so everyone doesn't. You have a lot of elderly and senior citizens that don't even use a computer.
Right, I know that.
And also they change their, people change their, their email addresses. And I just don't see people, a majority of people in the city of Kingston are going to want their city of Kingston to know their email or provide their email.
Right.
We would have to do another mailer just to try to get them to send us our emails. So,
well, no, if there was some registration requirement, I don't know. Okay.
A lot of things are posted used to be it posted in the Daily Freeman. A notification would go in for 7 or 10 days before, whatever it might be, and that would legally be enough to notify people. I know it's not perfect, but I mean, a mailer would be better, of course. But I mean, I know that legally, when you're doing things, sometimes you just need to post it in a local newspaper for like 7 days or something, and then that's enough. But I don't know if that's enough. I also have another question. Our streets aren't all the same in the city of Kingston, and we seem to be using a broad stroke on this. All emergency routes are going to be closed. Now, if you look at the size, all emergency roads are going to be not closed, they're going to be required to move your car off all emergency roads. I wasn't at the meeting, so if you guys could fill me in. So let me just get this idea. All emergency roads are going to be closed. And, some roads are much wider in the city of Kingston than others and can actually handle, 2 cars on each side and a good amount of space in the middle. Do those locations really need to be moved at that time and inconvenience inconvenience people when they could easily be plowed? Seeing the wider roads could probably easily be plowed with cars in their parking space. I mean, was that looked at? Did Ed Norman look at that? I don't know.
Well, there's an official designation as to which roads are emergency routes. And they want to be sure that those are clear so that it's going to be really easy for DPW to get those roads cleaned off really fast.
Yeah, I know. But look, if you take a look at Lucas Avenue, that's a nice wide street. You can park 2 cars on that and plow that and run 2 plows past each other, 2 big plows past each other without problem. Now we're going to inconvenience all those people on Lucas Avenue. For what reason?
I don't know that people park much on Lucas Avenue anyway, but Steve Shabbat, then Michelle Hirsch.
Yeah,
Just an example.
I understand Patrick's concern here, and it's a good point, but I think our legislation would be rather unwieldy because we would have to include in our legislation which streets would apply and which streets would not apply. I think it would get pretty complicated rather than, as you say, it's a broad stroke to say all of the emergency routes, but if we start isolating certain streets and passing legislation, I think it's going to make life very difficult.
Michelle Hirsch.
Thank you, Patrick. This also would include snow removal. So it's not just about plowing, but having time to remove snow if we need to remove snow. There's certain streets that would that the snow will need to be removed. So.
Yeah, to get us back.
Last year we had some pretty major storms, and I think that we should really err on the side of caution moving forward. We had some significant issues. So if this isn't working, we can always come back to the table and amend things. So.
Well, I'm not saying don't be cautious, but I'm saying also, don't be overcautious where, we're inconveniencing the population for no reason. And then I'll tell you what, that gets people upset too, when they say, hey, my road really doesn't need this,
I don't think
they're making me get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, move my car. And my road really doesn't need this because these guys just made some broad legislation to include my road, which actually doesn't need it. I would be upset, but I'm just saying, I think, maybe we should take a look at that list of roads and do what Steve said. We need to pick the roads that really need it and the ones that don't, unless every single road in the city of Kingston that's an emergency road, what's there, 30 of them or something? If there's every single road in the city of Kingston that's an emergency road needs to be cleared because it's not wide enough, okay, then that's fine. But if they're wide enough, then we're just inconveniencing people for no reason. That's not a good idea either.
Well, I didn't receive many phone calls last year saying my street didn't need to be plowed. So I think that this is a plan, and I think that DPW is right.
I'm not talking about not plowing streets. I'm talking about plowing streets properly, but not including streets that don't need this extra law, this extra.
Because these are streets that need to be plowed first before they plow tertiary streets. These need to be done first.
Yeah, and these are already designated, Patrick. You're muted.
Does every single one of these streets need to be done this way? Or are there some that don't need to be done this way? And if there are, and I lived on that street or one of my constituents lived on that street, I don't think it's necessary. It wouldn't be necessary. I know the only one who can probably determine this is our engineer. So what I'm saying is our engineer should go through this list and make sure, and then make a determination. Has that been done?
No, it was DPW and parking that did this. And that's because they're the ones who do the plowing and they're the ones who have to go out and write the tickets. And so that was the bigger concern, is that if this isn't done properly, they've got to go out and write tickets. Then you're really getting people upset. So the idea here is, I think, Patrick, if you wanted to follow through, the better way would be to say, what are the criteria for deciding which streets are snow emergency routes? And then can you take some of these streets off that list, as opposed to saying, can we not plow some emergency routes? The crucial thing here is how to get these streets clear, because these are the ones that are crucial for getting people efficiently through town and out of town.
All right.
In and out of town.
All right.
Okay. All right. Anything else on that one then? We're all good? That's the last one, at least by my count. If there are no more comments. Oh, Michelle.
A question for Don. Don, didn't you help organize a mailing during COVID?
A mailing? No.
Yeah, we passed something that was, I think you brought to us.
A mailing to what? To
The
residents?
home, yeah, all the residents during COVID, at the beginning of COVID about resources.
Don't remember it right offhand.
All right. Anything else? Anybody? Issues, concerns? Reviews about Moonburger, which had its official opening this morning? Anything else? All right, then. In that case, I will assume that everybody's ready for us to adjourn. So we'll stand adjourned here at 7:58.
I thought of one
Michelle?
more thing, Rennie, just
Yeah.
about the Kingston, moving Kingston forward and all the SHRET work that's been going on. I've been able to attend the kickoff meeting and some of the neighborhood walks and some of the meetings today at City Hall with stakeholders. And it's really interesting. And I would encourage everyone to, get out and attend as much as they can and get other people to attend. This is something that is, we're going to be working on, those of us that are still serving next year. So
I want to amplify that.
our community involved. So
Yeah, I want to amplify that. Every one of us really should be as involved as we can and encourage others to, because the implications are huge and they're, lasting for decades. And, this covers so much how, about how the future of the city will be. And so the more we can participate and encourage others to participate, the better.
Yeah,
And-
so tomorrow, for example, there's going to be a discussion about preservation at 10 o'clock. Between 11 to 1, there's going to be open studio at City Hall. This is where folks can go in and actually look at maps, look at other kinds of aids, and then really give ideas about what they would like to see either preserved in Kingston or developed anew in Kingston. At 1 o'clock, there's going to be a meeting with institutions and nonprofits. 2 o'clock, there's a meeting with community stakeholders. 3 o'clock, there's a meeting with arts and culture folks. And then from 4:30 to 6:30, there's going to be an open studio in Uptown at the Old Dutch Church, the one at 272 Wall Street. So 4:30 to 6:30 is open studio at the Old Dutch, and 11 to 1 in midday is open studio at City Hall. So anybody who's listening or watching, please do attend. I went on the tour, for example, in Midtown that Rashida Tyler led, really informative, powerful, to really look closely at what was there. So thank you, Michelle, for that. Thanks for bringing that up. And Don, thank you for amplifying.
Oh, and also they had one at the library tonight from 4:30 to 6:30, albeit late. I got a chance to attend. It's this whole zoning process is very complicated. So I'll second and third Michelle and Don about attending. This was the second Midtown tour. The first one I attended, the second one I couldn't. I'm glad that the city is also doing some of these studios and some of these meetings in the evening, because many people work during the day. And those times, people are unfortunately not able to attend. But I noticed on Saturday, this past Saturday, City Hall was open and they had a studio, which I was able to go in and look at some of the maps. But just the information, it's a lot of information that is being disseminated, and it's quite complicated. So you really do need to be in it to understand it. We can tell our constituents about what's going on, but I think it would be best if we try to encourage them to also attend as well. So, yeah.
And also, community members can still fill out the survey that is online at Engage New York, but they can reach out to us or City Hall to get a paper copy, and we can get them out. So
Engage Kingston, I think.
Kingston, sorry, thank you.
Yes, Engage Kingston. That's the city's website. You can press on Kingston Forward, and that'll take you to all of the related information here. Don Tollerman, then Tony Davis.
Just want to welcome Barbara to the team. Looking forward to working with you.
Thank you for that. Tony Davis.
So, Rennie, I just want to make clear, you can just go to Engage, the city's website, and Engage Kingston. That'll give you all the dates and times of these meetings. All right, Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, and you want to press Kingston Forward. That's the jazzy name for this whole process. Okay, great. All right, I'll second Don's welcome to Barbara. And here then, without any further ado, without objection, we will consider tonight's meeting adjourned. Sleep well, everybody, and we'll see you for tomorrow night's last, hopefully, online Common Council meeting.
Good night.